The Lee Enfield. Few rifles can match its extensive history. First adopted in 1895, it remained the British Army's standard issue rifle, undergoing various revisions and seeing action in the British Empire's colonial wars in Africa, both world wars, as well as numerous Cold War conflicts. However, even after its replacement by the L1A1 SLR in 1957, sniper variants of the Lee Enfield remained in British service until 1985, and the rifle remains in use in many Commonwealth nations even today, 100 years later. Hi guys, Andrew here in my old cadet uniform that I brought out for this very special British occasion. It's mostly only me today because, unfortunately, Gambit has no real interest in historical guns.
Don't look at me. All I know, that's the gun in Sniper Elite. Love that gun.
But I do. In this video, we are reviewing not one, but 3 whole variants of the venerable Lee Enfield No.4 by ARES. On this side, we have the Lee Enfield No.4 Mk1 and its sniper variant, the T model. These rifles were adopted in 1941 during the height of the Second World War as a modernization of the older SMLE. On this side though, really special, we have the last British Enfield variant, the L42A1. This sniper variant was adopted in 1970 and was rechambered from 303 British to 7.62 by 5.1 NATO, seeing action in the Falklands War until it was finally replaced by everyone's favorite, the L96 in 1985. So let's start off with the externals. All 3 rifles feature an utterly gorgeous real wood and full steel exterior, complete with markings denoting their mark and supposed date of manufacturer. In fact, it actually includes the place of manufacture as well, with the word Long Branch over here, which stands for Long Branch Arsenal in Ontario. Now, that technically means that these rifles are not British, they're actually Canadian. The only complaint I would have about the markings though is that they are identical on all 3 guns, which isn't very correct for, say, the L42A1 over here. But at this point, I'm just nitpicking. Aside from that, the detailing on these rifles is exceptional. The screws are the same flathead screws seen on Commonwealth guns of the era, and they're in all the right places. In fact, the details go even further, more than you may think. Like, check out this unscoped version, for example. The sights are just simple L-shaped flip-up sights with no range adjust at all, while these rifles seem to have proper adjustable aperture sights. Why is that? Well, that is because in 1942 there was a production bottleneck of aperture sights, and that many rifles made in that year were forced to make do with much simpler battle sights in order to keep up production of the rifles to be sent to the front during the war. This gun keeps that detail. In fact, it actually corresponds with the date of manufacture on the markings, which is 1942. So, well played, ARES. Well played. You don't get that sort of detail very often. And now for the differences. The most obvious differences being that the No.4 Mk1T and the L42A1 have removable scopes that come included with the rifle. The scope's pretty decent, with a decent historical sight picture and excellent tactile adjustment knobs. However, they do have quite a low field of view that will make it quite difficult to target acquisition if it wasn't for these really nice, comfortable cheek rests that allow you to have the perfect eye relief for precise shooting. On the L42A1, as we see here, the front handguard is removed, giving the rifle itself a sleeker profile and significantly reducing its forward weight, which is actually pretty awesome. Onto the trigger. Now, ARES have said that the internals of all 3 rifles are identical, but we have noticed variations between the trigger walls of all 3 guns. probably due to looser QC. So while these guns could count as sniper rifles, don't expect 21st century Marui levels of precision. They are, after all, made to replicate something from 1942. Metal magazines carry 35 rounds, though it is important to note that like many AEG-style magazines, the lack of a follower means that a few BBs will fall out after you reload. So in reality, it's more like 30 rounds. So that's it for the externals, which, as you may have noticed, are incredible. So what about the internals? I'll let Gambit tell you what's going on inside.
So internally, they all run an AEG spec inner barrel at 6.03 inner diameter. Now, the Mk1 series, they actually run a 535mm inner barrel, whereas the L42 actually run a 600mm inner barrel. So this one has a longer inner barrel. Moving on to adjusting the hop up. I'll use the standard version as a demonstration. To adjust the hop, you have to actually pull the bolt back and use a hex key that unfortunately they do not come with to adjust the hop right here. Once you finish adjusting it, fire it once. Once you get everything set up, then you're good to go. So if you have the versions that actually come with a scope, be sure to adjust your hop first before installing it. And now for functionality. Just like any bolt action sniper rifle, there's a spring inside. So when you do pull the bolt and you feel the resistance, that's normal. However, ARES' unique system actually have a spring tension even when pushing forward, just like the SRS. So make sure you add a bit of oomph when you push forward, and make sure it's seated and locked back. If you don't keep the tension and lock it back, this is what's gonna happen. See how it jumps out? You will have to push it and lock it before letting go. Otherwise, all you're doing is just letting it jump back. By the way, my motion just now, if there's BB inside, I just caught a multiple feed malfunction. To clear that, here's what you do. Eject the magazine, fire it. The box comes with an unjam rod. You can unjam everything. Then reload it. And fire it as normal. And here we are, we're at landing zone again to do the chrono test and the range test. And what are you both wearing?
Dressing up for the part, obviously.
Millennials. Anyways, chrono test first. Chrono test, 0.2 gram BBs.
And now for the accuracy test. For this, I'm going to be using the L42A1 because it is actually ergonomically the most comfortable to shoot. I also have, guess what, a small stand. Fun fact, we actually had one, but we lost the most important resting piece of it, so we couldn't do it in last week's Marui video. But I have my own, so let's see how it goes. Range is hot. Stiff bolt. All right, it's 10 rounds. Gun is clear. Yeah, well, first impressions are that it's definitely not as accurate as, say, a VSR-10. That is for sure. Overall impressions, though, pretty good. One thing I do have a gripe about is the stiffness of the bolt. Not so much as the bolt pull, because that's due to the higher FPS, but the bolt push, due to the loading mechanism to be able to transfer rounds from the magazine to the loading chamber up over here. It really does feel quite stiff, and there is a bit of resistance when you push the bolt back down. We'll go and take a look a bit. We'll talk more about it later, but that's just something to go and keep in mind for now. But let's go check out the results. All right, let's see over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, at least they're all on target, but let's be clear about this. Let's get a grouping diagram. Oh, whoops. That wasn't well done. But, yeah, like I did say, it's all in, but it's not as accurate as, say, your standard dedicated airsoft sniper rifles. Overall, I'm at 30 meters. It's still on a man-sized target, so it is quite skirmishable, and you will be able to perform quite well with it. But as I said before, you might want to try and upgrade it if there are parts available for it in the future. RedWolf, let's go and have some fun though, shall we? So in this scenario, each one of us has chosen their own rifle, so we can all engage one target en masse. I chose the No. 4 Mk1 standard version because I like a challenge with these iron sights.
I chose the No. 4 Mk1T instead because this is actually the favorite rifle I like to use in the game, Sniper Elite.
Quake, why did you choose the L42?
By late afternoon yesterday, it became clear that an Argentine invasion had taken place. And
Did you get anything?
No, that's just how he is. He just doesn't say much.
Oh well.
All right. Anyways, let's shoot something.
Squad, take this mannequin, 40 meters, 12 o'clock. Rapid, fire! So overall, I found it really, really nice. The externals, as I said before, are top notch. The gun is a joy to shoot. It's really nice, comfortable shoot, stiff bolt, and the accuracy, it's all right. We're not talking about VSR-10, but hey, check this out. Not bad. What do you think, Gambit?
Yeah, I'm really surprised how well it shoot. Obviously, it's not VSR-10 accuracy, but we're talking about 40 meters here, and with a heavier weight BB, I'm surprised how straight it shoot. I really like the scope on this, but I just really hate the eye relief. The eye relief is not a big fan of it. But overall, it was really pleasant to shoot this gun. What about you, Quake?
Still getting anything?
I mean, he pretty much sums it up. Nothing from him.
Anyway, let's get back to the studio, shall we? So there we go. Now to score the thing. On fun factor, we gave these Lee Enfields a 4 out of 5 stars. As while I would personally say the scope versions are more fun, we do have to take into account the unscoped version too.
And for realism, we're gonna score these 4.5 star out of 5. I mean, they look incredible, the dimensions right, even the right screws and the right markings. But they do slam fire, so unfortunately, I take the little bit of points out of there. But they even have the firing pin where it indicates if the bolt is caught back. So unfortunately, it's not a perfect 5.
Performance-wise, these rifles fire at an impressive 400 FPS and have decent accuracy. However, the stiff and unusual springy bolt close and the difficult to adjust hop up will negatively affect your performance on the field. So I'm going to give this a 3 stars out of 5.
As for build quality, we're gonna rank this 5 star out of 5. Full points. The wood is in excellent quality, the steel feels just right, and is an absolute joy to hold. Whether you're out on the field or it's just a war hanger, it's an impressive piece. Good job, ARES. This is really gonna do a bang up job on these products.
On value, we'll rank these 3 out of 5. As at a price of up to $600 US, you're going to be paying a pretty penny for these rifles. But on collectability, we're going to give these an outstanding 5 out of 5 stars. There are not many models of Lee Enfield out there, and ARES just gave us 3. These rifles are going to stand out amongst your peers and are definitely going to be a premium collectible item for years down the line.
So overall, we're gonna rank these Lee Enfield a 4 star out of 5. They may not be the first one in the market, but they are definitely the best one we've come across so far.
Now, speaking of the first, I'm sure some of you long-time viewers remember that RWA released their own Lee Enfield No.4 back in 2017. I would know because I too bought one, which I have over here. And, well, I played with it, even made a personal review of it, and compared to these two, well, RWA deserve genuine credit for being the first company to attempt to make a No.4. But full disclosure, with ARES' significantly greater R&D capacity and craftsmanship, I'm just gonna have to say it, these Lee Enfields offer far more value than the RWA ever did. So, good job, ARES. You did well in this one. So let's hand it over to you guys. What are your thoughts on the ARES Lee Enfields? Let us know in the comments below.
For these cool products and many more, go to our online store at
www.redwolfairsoft.com.
This is Gambit
And Andrew,
out.